Hello everyone! This hour on Verbling, the next in my Hot Topics series. Today's hot topic is Krumpus and Christmas monsters. Oh, have I got a good one for you today. Today in Hot Topics, let's find out why from now until January 6th, demons, witches, and monsters haunt Europe, but not America. I wonder why. We'll read excerpts from articles and we'll discuss the cultures of Christmas around the world. So, that's a little bit about the class. Here's a little bit about me. I'm John Eric, your Verbling teacher for this hour. I'm an American teacher from New York, hanging out in Lisbon, Portugal to bring you this class. By the way, here are 3 quick rules to help you participate. Don't forget to turn off, tune in, and open up. That means turn off your microphone when you're not speaking so we can keep the classroom nice and quiet. Tune in to the new words you're learning when you are speaking. That means use them actively so that I can correct you and give you feedback. And finally, open up to your classmates. Relax and have fun. We're all here to learn, and this is a safe and respectful place to practice your English. So we're going to get started in just a minute, but first let me just say hello to some familiar faces. Okay, it's Juan Ma. Hello, Juan. Nice to have you back.
Hello, teacher. How are you?
Very good, very good. And Monica, I don't know
Hi.
if you've been here before. I'm not sure.
Just one lesson, yeah.
Where are you from, Monica? I don't remember.
I'm from Italy.
From Italy. Ah, okay, maybe you were in the business class a while ago. I think I remember. Very good. And whereabouts in Italy?
Sorry?
Whereabouts in Italy? Where?
In the north, near
In the
Venice.
north?
Yes.
Near Venice. In Mestre?
No, Vicenza.
Vicenza. Oh, Vicenza. That's a famous place.
Yeah. I don't think so.
It is.
Yes.
I was in the train station at Vicenza. I know it well.
Okay. Good.
And did you have a good Christmas, Juanma?
Yes, I'm having a really good Christmas with all my family, and my sister has came from London because he's living there now.
Your sister lives in London.
My sister lives in London, yeah.
Ah, okay. And so she's back home.
Yeah, for Christmas.
Excellent. And Araceli, what about you? What are you doing for Christmas?
Well, actually, I'm going to this evening. I'm traveling to Valencia. That is where my parents and my sister family lives to spend these days until the end until New Year's. I'll be with there for a whole week. So I'm very excited about that.
Okay, very good, very good. If you noticed in the description of the class, there was this period of time, because it's all about the other side of Christmas, the part that maybe all of you know, but at least in America, where I'm from, we don't get the other part, the part about the dark side. But if you notice, there's this time period. It says from now, or a little bit before now, until the 6th of January. I'm just curious, in your countries, is there something happening in January as part of the Christmas season, as part of the religious holiday? Is there another holiday after Christmas besides New Year's?
In Spain, there is I don't know if in Portugal, I'm supposed to. There is in the 6th of January is what it's called Reyes here. It's like the Epiphany, I think it's called in English. It's like the celebration of the 3 wise men who visited Jesus and took him presents. So the tradition here is that the kids get a lot of presents instead of Santa Claus. The 3 kings are the ones who bring presents to the kids. So Christmas season really ends on the 6th of January.
On the 6th of January. So the presents are not on Christmas Day, but on the 6th of January. Is that right?
Well, usually the thing is that's how it used to be in the
Right.
past. But nowadays, there is a lot of American influence, so Santa Claus is coming too. So they got both days. But for example, in my family, for Christmas, they get something not very much, and the biggest presents are on the 6th of January.
There you go. So, yeah, I guess we have the holiday here in Portugal, but because I'm not Portuguese, I never can keep the holidays straight, to be honest with you. Uh, and here it seems very Americanized too. Except there's traditions here, like the food is different, but they celebrate Christmas kind of like back in the States. What about you, Alan? Are you celebrating Christmas, or there's no Christmas where you are?
For me, I'm not know any religion, um, but we'll still celebrate Christmas,
Yeah.
just for fun, I think.
Oh yeah. So did you have a little Christmas party the other day, yesterday?
Usually I
Friend.
will have, yeah, I have a Christmas party with my family, and some friends. Mm, yes, we will have a dinner and have a hang together uh, to uh, s- to having some games.
And
Yes,
tell
something like
everyone where
this.
you are.
Yeah, I'm from Hong Kong.
So, is that normal in Hong Kong? People celebrate Christmas just for more for fun, or is there something traditional happening at this time of year?
I think some people will go to church um, in the Christmas day, and some people will sing choir. This is choir, sing song for Christmas.
Choir, right?
Choir, yes. But most of the people, because the the I think not so many people are so religion,
Hmm.
Catholic, or uh, so not many people many people is celebrate for fun.
Okay, there you go. Well, uh, let's do this. Let me just see if Adi can hear me. Are you there, Adi? Hello, Adi? Uh-oh. I see you, Adi, but I don't hear you. Let's do this. Let's talk a little bit more about the traditions where you are in just a moment. First, we're going to turn to the dark side of Christmas. You're going to see this in. I was looking up the day of the Epiphany. So, when you open that link in the chat window, you'll see this guy, Merry Krampus. First of all, do any of you recognize this character? Monica, I bet you know who this is. Am I right?
Well, I see that this sort of monster are celebrating our little small villages in high mountains, but I don't see them a lot celebrated around here.
Not in Vincenzo, huh?
No, no.
So up there in the Dolomites, do they have this kind of thing, or is it really in the north? Is it in your
And
area too?
yes, but up in the mountain, in
Up in
this
the mountain.
small village, see small villages, not in the city.
What about the rest of you? Do you recognize this character? Have you seen this before?
Never.
Never. Okay, let me show you something from here in Portugal. I'm American, but I live in Portugal, so I'm going to jump down here and to page 5, I think it is. And take a look. Look. This is also in the mountains. This is in the mountains in the north of Portugal, where my in-laws are from. And you can see the caption under number 1 and 2. Pagan festival. Festa do Chocoleiro em Trás-os-Montes, Portugal. Trás-os-Montes is the name of the region. So, what would you think if you saw these guys running down the street after you? What would you do?
Maybe run away.
Run away. And underneath there, I have something a picture which looks strangely similar. It's different, of course. So this is kukeri, traditional Bulgarian ritual to scare away evil spirits. I show the one from Portugal because it's where I live, and they still do this today to some extent, especially in the villages. But it's not exactly the same. So actually, maybe I can open up something here. There's actually a link here in Wikipedia too. Let me see. I don't know if it gives any background. There we go. Careto, tradition, prehistorical Celtic. So it's in the north where you had the Celts. So the remnants of the culture is still there. Okay. Currently takes place during Carnival. So this one in particular is from Carnival, which is a month later, or 2 months later. And let me see if I can give you a little link here. One second. Chocoleiro. Give me just a second here. Oh, it's in English. Let's see if they give the time. Festa do Chocoleiro. So, take a look. I don't know if you can read this on your screen here, but here we go. Now this one, whoops. This particular one, there, I'm trying to highlight it. On the 26th, right? Each year, December 26th and January 1st in the Trás-os-Montes region. Considered to be a pagan festival, fine. It began as a celebration dedicated to the winter solstice. But today is celebrated in the name of baby Jesus. So it's like the winter solstice was, what day was that? The 21st or 22nd? When was the solstice?
21st.
21st? Okay. So I'm showing this because in different cultures, I can't help but notice a certain similarity. So with the Bulgarian down there, you've got people dressed up in this traditional way, scaring away evil spirits. Then in Portugal, it's a little different. When you dress up, you become the evil spirit. You're not really evil, but you have the right to do mischievous things, and you're wearing a mask, right? In every case, there's always a kind of a mask. And here you can see it starts on the winter solstice, and it became adapted to, as Christianity took over, it became adapted to the Christian holiday. So it has now something to do with, less to do with winter solstice. But keep that in mind as we read about Krumpus and the other Christmas demons. They seem to have a lot to do with the time of year, the longest day of the year, the longest night, I should say, of the year, and also the time after the harvest, when people have a lot more free time, basically. It's one of the points the articles make. Okay, so we can talk more about that in a minute. And Sylvia, you're just joining us? Do you recognize this dude up here? Does that look familiar?
Yes, hi.
Do you recognize this guy up at the top, Sylvia?
It's a monster.
It's an Italian monster. Partly.
I don't know. No.
You're too far south. Okay, Monica knows him, but you don't know him. Okay, let's find a little bit more about Mr. Krumpus and the others. So what we're going to do is start with this article. I've got quite a few articles. So in the first hour, we're going to do mostly reading, and maybe we'll pick up a few other details for some of these other links I have. But our main article after this is just about the tradition itself. Why monsters haunt Christmas in Europe but not America? And I've got the link up there in the link section. This is from Quartz magazine. So take a look at the picture. Araceli, what is Krumpus doing in this picture? What do you think his purpose is?
He's stealing the babies from a city, maybe. Like, how many? Oh, what's the name of that tale? Do you know that tale with the float and the guy who was stealing the children?
Who was stealing the children? Say again.
Hamelins. I don't know the name of that in English. The guy who was he had a musical instrument. I think it's called a flute.
Oh, the flute.
Flute. Okay.
Pied Piper. Pied Piper. I think it's like this. The chat window.
Yes. So it's like the same idea. Somebody is stealing the children. That frightens people a lot.
That's true. Something like that. So children should be afraid. I think that's the main idea here. If you're a kid, you should be afraid.
If you don't need your vegetables, somebody's going to take you away. You say something like that to the kids.
Exactly.
In many cultures.
The boogeyman, we say. The boogeyman. I'll write this one for you. Oh, it's not letting me write boogie.
The boogeyman has like a very big sack or something. No?
Well, I guess there we go. Boogeyman. I guess the boogeyman is whatever you're afraid of. So yeah, could put you in a sack. And Juanma, take a look at that picture and tell me, what is our boogeyman? What's he riding? Can you see what that is?
Yes, I can see, but I don't know what is he riding. Maybe.
What does it look like?
He likes I don't know.
Help him out, class. What do you think it is? So Araceli, you think it's a broom?
A part of one? Maybe,
yeah.
I don't know.
In a way, you might be right, because the old brooms. By the way, here in Portugal, we still use these brooms. They just take the branches of a tree and tie them together on a stick, like this. So in a way, yeah, it could be something like a broom. But looking at that picture, looking at those things tied together, does it give you an idea of what season it is? For me, this looks like something from the harvest or after the harvest. Like they've taken, wheat, or they've taken things that have been harvested, or dead tree branches and tied them together. So it looks like sort of this traditional sort of monster or something like that. Anyway, could be. Let's see if we can find out a little bit more. Let's start reading. As we go along, let me close this. As we go along, I'm going to make some comments on the right side. You can add comments too by double-clicking on a word or a sentence. You right-click and click on the comment button. I'm going to put comprehension questions on the right, and then I'll collect them together at the end of the article. I'll put them all together. Okay? And so let's get started, and we'll talk about this as we go along. Why don't you get us started there? Well, Araceli, why don't you start us off, the first part?
Okay. The worst isn't the screams or the snow or the mind-numbing blare of Nightingale Mountain on repeat. It's the cowbells, a rusty jangle that means the Christmas monsters are coming. Until January 6th, demons, witches and monsters haunt Europe. The season of terror begins on December 5, the eve of St. Nicholas Day, with public parades of the saint's supposed companions. Across the Italian, Austrian and Slovenian Alps, cowbell slang demons called Krumpus storm mountain towns. In France, the legendary serial killer and butcher Pere Fouettard, Father Whipper, threatens naughty children with his whip, while in Belgium and the Netherlands a controversial kidnapper called,
Hey, that sounds familiar. Child kidnapper.
yes, called Zwarte Piet, Black Pete, rides through canals on a steamship.
Legendary serial killer and butcher. Oh my God. What kind of Christmas is there in France? Father Whipper threatens naughty children. Are you seeing a pattern here?
Yes, poor kids if they don't
And
behave well in
and it doesn't
school.
matter where you are. It could be France, Belgium, Holland, where else? Austria, Italy, Slovenia, all up there in the Alps. And cowbells are ringing. That's how we know the monsters are coming. Um, so this is we're okay. Anyway, I'm not going to make comments yet. Let's read and we'll comment as we go along. Okay, so uh, who's next here? Alan, why don't you take the next one?
Okay. Like relatives returning home for the holidays, more monsters show up with increasing frequency as Christmas approaches. Every night from uh, December 12th until Christmas Day, the churlish,
Trollish.
churlish,
Mm-hmm.
uh, Yuli,
Your lads. Lads is
Yulai,
like a boy. Hey, nice young lad, young boy.
Yulai, let's peace, peep,
Peep, peep.
peep, peep,
Yeah,
peep through
peep.
windows.
Peep is
Peep,
to look.
okay, to look. Okay, peep through windows, slices, sausage, and gorge
And
themselves on
gorge themselves.
gorge,
Gorge.
gorge themselves on stolen sky in Iceland. On December 25th, goat-foot car
I don't know.
it's difficult.
Kalikanzaros. Kalikanzaros.
Calicansaurus goblins emerge from underground and demand piggyback ride in Greece. Uh, uh, I don't know how to say this.
Bulgaria?
Bulgaria, Turkey's and Balkans, and Germany's fair
Perkta? Frau Perkta.
Frau Perchta creeps in homes to slit open bad children and stuff their belly with stew.
Yum.
Both do their mischief throughout the 12 days of Christmas until January 6th, when Italian children finally hang their stocking and the rich La Bafana shows up with lamps of coal, and with legends and names that vary from region to region and even villages to villages.
Village to village. No S.
Village,
Village to
okay,
village.
okay. Village to village. These are only a few of countless mythical troublemakers paid annually by others in custom.
Okay. Italians. Can you tell me about La Befana? Have you heard that before?
Yes.
What's La Befana?
Abifana is a really old woman without shoes, with the tie all broken, that came the night of 9 Eve, the 5 Eve, with some, for me, with some cookie
Oh, it's cookies.
candy. There,
Here it says she shows up with coal.
if you are a bad person, yes.
Ah, but you're a good girl. Is that right?
Yes.
Oh, I
Yes.
see. I see. I got it.
And so with some cookie, and because also the coal is a cookie, then it's sugar.
Oh, okay. So it's edible coal.
Yes.
And and has La Befana ever visited you, Monica?
Yes, it's a very traditional celebration here. It is more famous than the Krumpus. Yes.
Krumpus. Okay. It's funny because in Portugal, a bifana is a meat sandwich. You say that La Bifana is going to show up. It's like a giant sandwich with I don't even know what's in it, with pork. Anyway, it's different. So, what was I going to ask you? Um, tell me something. What um, what what themes are you noticing that are similar between all these cultures? I'll put that question here. What themes are similar between cultures of Christmas? So, of Christmas. It would be great if I could spell while I speak, right? Christmas. Are you noticing any similarities? Let's talk about some of the things that are similar. So we've got Kali Kenzaros. We've got Frau Perchta, or I don't know how to say that name, La Befana. We've got the Father Whipper, Zwarte Piet, in wherever this is, in the Netherlands. What are some similarities that you see between the cultures in general? So there's a monster that shows up. Are the reasons always the same?
To
Or are they different?
scary children. They all come
Scare
to
the
scare.
children? Why? Why would you want to scare your kids? Why?
Because they has
Because it's a holiday and parents have their children all day, and so if they told them this story, maybe they are more quiet and the children.
So get them to behave. Get them to behave well. All right. What are some other traditions that you notice here that are similar? And Adi, if you can't speak, you can write in the chat window. Okay, I'll see it. Any other similarities between cultures here? What about this thing about, for example, the trollish Yule lads? Here I got a little link to the Yule lads. This is in Iceland. These are Yule lads. There you go. You've got, I can't pronounce them. Stufur, Frödehudeha. I can't pronounce these. I don't speak Icelandic. Do they look familiar at all? The Yule lads? Do the Yule lads look familiar to you at all? Do they seem like anything else you might have seen before? Hello? Is anyone there?
Is some kind of wolf or something.
Some kind of
I don't know how to say. Wolf.
dwarf? Like a small
Dwarf.
person?
Yes.
Kind of, yeah. Looks like a dwarf. Maybe, now that the Lord of the Rings have been made into a movie and The Hobbit, you get to see dwarves look something like this. Do they remind you of anything in the commercialized version of Christmas that comes from America? What about Santa's helpers? Remember those? Maybe you don't have this where you are. All the little creatures that make the toys? Adi says elves. So yeah, it looks a little bit like to me like Santa's elves. The little people that make all the toys. So the trollish lads peep through windows, snatch sausages, and gorge themselves on stolen skyr in Iceland. There seems to be a lot of. Tell me if you agree. There seems to be a lot of breaking and entering. There's a lot of stealing of children, breaking into the house. It's another theme. You've got different monsters, and what else? And there seems to be. I thought there was something else about food too. What else? Maybe that's it. Okay. I was going to say something else. Okay, but anyway. So we've got different kinds of monsters, but also this one thing that seems in common is that they all seem to break into your house. I forgot what I was going to say. Break-in and abduction seems to be common. Let's keep going. Point out if you see anything else that's similar or different that stands out. Feel free to speak up, though. We have a caption here, the next page. Here is December 5th, Krumpus procession in Tarvisio, Italy, an alpine town close to the Italian border with Austria and Slovenia. So you can see that here. This is a pretty recent picture, actually. The Krumpus carry broken branches as whips for naughty children. Ah, whips for naughty children. That was a little bit like above, where we saw Père Foutard in France threatening naughty children with his whip. So there seems to be something similar between cultures here. So you got a Krumpus in Italy. Here's another one. Traditional oversized Krumpus masks and fur suits are handmade after accompanying Saint Nicola into town. The Krumpus terrorize onlookers with whippings and maulings. We've got a few of these pictures. So here's one where they're carrying fire. Only members of a secretive Krumpus fraternity may play the Krumpus on the 5th of December. All right. Who's next? Take it away, Juanma. We're on the bottom of page 10.
Okay. Mass mayhem has always marked celebration around the winter solstice, the 9th of December 21 this year. In Roman times, December brought Saturnalia, a festival that reversed the social order. Masters served dinner to their slaves. The rich gave gifts to the poor and to each other, and everyone went out in disguise, including slaves disguised as free men, to gamble and drink. Even before the Romans, points out historian Stephen Nissenbaum, author of the Pulitzer Prize nominated book The Battle for Christmas. December was a disorderly time. By some time at the end of November, the harvest and post-harvest work was done. What followed, what followed, if you were a man, was a period of leisure. Furthermore, the I don't know
What's
what
that?
Beujolus. Novel was in, as it were, people were getting drunk.
That's Beaujolais. Beaujolais.
Beaujolais.
Beaujolais Nouveau. So,
Beaujolais.
in other words, the harvest had come and gone, and the wine was made, the Beaujolais. Okay. So, I have a question. We can talk about this more at the end if you like. But the first thing that comes to my mind is reverse the social order. So I have a question there to think about. Why do you think these traditions reverse the social order? Particularly, I find it amazing. I don't know what you think. I find it amazing about Saturnalia. Roman times, December brought Saturnalia, the worship of the god Saturn, or Neptune in Greek. The festival. No, am I wrong about that? No. Saturn and no. I'm getting that confused. Neptune is also Roman. I don't remember the Greek god in who is Saturn. Is that I'm blanking on it. Anyway, help me out if you know your Greek and Roman gods. Help me out. But the festival that reversed social order, masters served dinner to their slaves. It's really hard for me to picture that because when we think of slaves, we think of people that are stuck in a position in the social order that they can't ever change. So, why do you think they permitted this to happen? Just out of curiosity. Hello? Is anyone there?
Sorry, teacher, could you repeat the question, please?
Sure. The question is right here on the right side of the screen.
Ah, sorry, I see.
Why do you think these traditions reversed the social order? Just an opinion. I'm just curious. For me, it's amazing that the Romans would allow the slaves to become the masters and the masters to act more like slaves. The poor would give gifts to the rich would give gifts to the poor. I find that really amazing.
It was like charity.
Like a kind of charity, okay? So do you think charity was a reason?
No, I don't think so.
Ah.
Um,
Any theories? For 1 mile or all of you? I'm just curious, why do you think they let this go on? You think it was necessary?
Yes. They have so many slaves, and they work all around the year, and so for one day they reverse the order, so the slave can't complain a lot.
So it's kind of like it's kind of like their vacation. They get one day where they get to taste freedom. Do you think? And also another interesting thing here. I agree. I think it's got something to do with, you know, purging after all this time of being a slave. It's sort of like this, like in Greek, drama was considered a catharsis. You had to purge your emotions. They tried to figure out why drama was important. So maybe it's something to do with that. After all this time of being confined, you were allowed to be completely free. And what do you think it was like during this time? Do you think it was similar to Christmas now, where you're giving gifts and you're supposed to be generous and charity is important? Or do you think it was different? If the social order is reversed, how different do you think it was to today's times? Is that clear? Everyone's really quiet. Am I confusing you? Maybe my questions are too difficult. Because
No,
I'm just asking
No.
your opinion. I don't know.
I think people did this day for keep slaves under control, maybe
To keep them what? Repeat. To keep
to
them
keep slaves under control.
under control.
Under control.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I think that's what Sylvia you're trying to say as well. If you give them a bit of freedom, you'll be able to control them more. Is that right?
Yes, because when you have people all day working, and you give you give they a gift, and they are happy for a moment, and
Mm-hmm.
it keeps people quite happy, maybe.
Yeah. So, do you agree with that? Do you agree with
Yeah.
that, Alan, Monica? Do you agree with
Maybe
that?
it was a small time of celebration, as they say, to gamble and drink. So maybe it was a sort of celebration here.
Okay. So we've got two ideas floating around. One is that it's another way to control people, and another is that it was really a holiday. They really had a break that they could celebrate, spend time with the family. Maybe both of those things are true, actually. Maybe both. Um, why don't you why don't you pick it up from there, Monica? Let's find out a little bit about America. What we're
Okay.
getting to is why these things don't exist in America anymore, how the tradition changed. So go for it.
Back when Christmas was more about drinking, America had monsters too. In the 16th, early Bostonians celebrated Christmas disguised as animals, as members of the opposite sex or with face paint, in order to get drunk and disorderly without being recognized, explained Nissenbaum. Caroling at the time meant dancing. Whistling meant going door to door demanding for food, alcohol, and money. The annual debauchery got so bad think public orgies that from 1659 to 1681 Massachusetts Puritans banned Christmas altogether. But the monsters never left. Later, around Christmas time in 19th century, Appalachia and Pennsylvania Dutch country, wealthy families would be mobbed by requests for drinks and their children frightened into niceness as a service by masked
Marauder.
marauders,
Marauder.
marauders,
Yeah.
marauders, and cross-dressers called bellsnickers.
Bells Nichols.
Bellsnickers.
Debauchery. What do we mean by debauchery?
Debauchery.
What do we mean by debauchery? Do you know what that means? Anyone?
The feast, the celebration,
A little more than celebration. A little more. I'll give you a link here.
the chaos.
Chaos. Yeah, more like chaos. I'll
Okay.
give you a little link there to Webster's online. It'll take a second to open. But yeah, a little bit more like chaos. And they give an example. Think public orgies. Oh my God, we're back in Rome.
Basically,
Pretty chaotic. Bad or immoral behavior that involves sex, drugs, alcohol, all the things that are normally socially unacceptable. So we've got, on one hand, see, I don't know about you, but what I find interesting is that you've got control on one hand and complete chaos on the other. It's this strange balance between the two, and this strange reversal between the two. So it's almost like this reminds me more of Halloween than it does of Christmas.
Yes.
And look, why did they ban Christmas? Is that clear? Who banned Christmas in America? Who banned Christmas? If I say banned, that means not permitted. To ban is not permitted. It got so bad
The
that the Puritan
Puritans.
who are the Puritans? Do you know? Do you remember who those are?
Massachusetts Puritans.
Mm-hmm. Do
Mm.
you know who the Puritans are? Everyone?
Not so clear, but yeah.
The Puritans were the people to leave England specifically for religious reasons. So they wanted to go to a kind of uh, a pure place because they're Puritans, where they could practice their religion, which was different than the Church of England, and they saw Europe as being immoral. Everyone had immoral behavior, and they were pure. They were closer to God than everyone else, and they had an austere lifestyle. In reality, when they got there, um, they had no idea what they were getting into. So these are some of the founders of the colonies in America, but they were very unprepared. So in reality, yeah, they were looking for religious freedom, but they often got on ships thinking they'd be in America in a day or two, and they'd be on the sea for weeks without proper clothing, without food. So a lot of them would die on the way. Then they got to America and there was nothing there. Nothing. So they didn't know how to live off the land. So they put a lot of, they didn't know that would happen, but they put a lot of faith into their religion. And they had very austere practices. And remember the witch trials? Have you heard of the witch trials in Salem in the 1600s? Has anyone heard of that? Hello? Can anyone hear me? Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No one's answering me. Have you heard of the witch trials in Salem? The Salem witch trial?
No.
No. Okay. Um, in the 1600s, you had this famous case of people, and I think it was not just people, it was sometimes even animals, but people being put on trial as witches. So there was this case, and it was made into a very famous play and a very famous movie, and then it was remade into another movie later with Daniel Day-Lewis, a more updated version. Uh, the witch trials. So these young girls were accusing the elders of the town of being witches until they accused almost everyone, and a lot of people were hung as a result. So there was this hysteria about evil, and they were in a very stressful place. So do you think that has anything to do with the control that they're trying to create? Do you think the fear that the adults had has anything to do with the control they were trying to instill in their children? Just out of
Yes, of
curiosity.
course. Yes, of course.
What do you think? What do you think?
They want to impress them, so they they can rebel.
Sure, to control their kids. I think that part of it has to do, now if we're talking about the Puritans in particular, I think part of it has to do with their own fears. That the adult fears are sort of being used to control the kids because they were they believed that evil was walking and talking and living among us. It wasn't some vague idea. So I think that might have been part of it too. Anyway, there's a yeah, go for it.
Perhaps Puritans wanted to celebrate Christmas in a different way
Mm-hmm.
than in Europe,
Absolutely, they did.
because they weren't religious.
Who wasn't religious? You mean Europeans weren't?
Puritans.
They were very religious, super religious.
There were religious. Sorry.
They were religion concentrated. They were highly religious,
Yeah.
obsessive. They were very, very strict, actually. And that's why they left, because they felt that everyone around them was not religious enough. So, anyway, I think some of the monsters, this is my theory, you can disagree. I think that some of the monsters that we see come from the fears that they had about evil, and they're living in this very stressful place, a brand new country that had not been explored, with lots of real danger. The cold was a danger, not having enough food was a danger, and I wonder if that is where some of these monsters came from. Anyway, the point is, they brought the traditions from Europe to America in the 1600s. Um, so, Monica, who read last? Was it you, Monica?
Yes, was
Okay. Sylvia, why don't you take over? I think, where did we stop? We stopped with the Besnicklers. Let's talk about today in America. Sylvia?
Okay. Today, Christmas in America has lost its dark side. All we have now are minimum wage malls elves. The
Mall
belt
elves, shopping center elves.
elves. The Belsnickel is practically extinct. These guys expire after Halloween, and although the mood has changed for many reasons, you can probably thank or blame a New York named Clement Moore for killing off our monsters. In 1823, Moore published the poem "A Visit from St. Nicholas", explains Nussbaum, and introduced Americans to a fat new elf known as Santa Claus. Like a Christmas monster, Santa broke into people's houses, but only to leave presents. His face was still covered but with soot from the chimney. He didn't take anything or disturb anybody, and he would soon eclipse all other Christmas characters, teaching Americans with a silent wink of his eye and twist of his head that there is nothing to dread at Christmas time.
Keep going, last one.
Today, some hope to restore dread to Christmas by importing the Krampus to unlike new homes like Los Angeles. But a bloody mask, flaming tours, and whipping may not be necessary. Nearly half of Americans already feel stressed by the mere thought of giving or receiving Christmas gifts.
So, there you go. So, that's part of the origin of Santa Claus, this particular poem. And I've got a link to it as well. So I'll open that up and we'll take a look. Do you know the other source of Santa Claus? This is one. Where does, I mean, you have, we have Santa Claus. You probably all have a Saint Nicholas, right?
Yeah, Babbo Natale.
Who Natale?
Babbo Natale.
Baba Natale?
Yeah.
What is
Sounds
Baba?
like father. It's like father.
Baba?
Babbo.
Babo. Oh, Babo is father?
Yes.
Now I know.
Papa
What
Noel
a-
in Spain.
Say again,
Now,
what?
there is also Papa, but Papa is for. It depends a lot from place to place.
Mm-hmm.
They're the same, but for Christmas it's only Babbo Natale.
Babo. And Juan, what were you saying?
Yeah, in Spain, Santa Claus is called Papa Noel.
Papa Noel.
Yes.
Here it's called Pai Natal. Pai is father. So I'll take a quick look at the poem. You've got a link there where you can actually hear it being read, and you got the text here. Very famous poem. Even today in America, 'twas the night before Christmas when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. It's a very, very long poem. So it tells the story of St. Nicholas, now Santa Claus, coming down the chimney. Um, so what changed, quick comprehension question, what changed when Santa Claus took over the mythology in America? What changed? What changed and what was kept?
Could you repeat the question, please?
Sure. When Santa Claus became the new myth, and we got rid of the old mythology, what changed in the character? Some traditions were kept, and others were lost. What was the big change from what you read?
That he is not scary anymore.
Yeah.
He just come to bring a gift.
So nothing to fear anymore.
Yeah.
He gives presents.
He leaves presents as well. Yeah. So, and what was the same from the old traditions? What did we keep?
That he creeps into the house in the night, maybe.
Yeah.
He's fat.
Say again, Juan?
He's fat.
He's fat. Yeah, but he's fat in a good way.
He's healthy.
He's robust. But like Monica said, he creeps into houses. So he's still breaking into the house. There's still this idea that your house is not quite safe, but he's not going to do anything to you. He's not going to put you in the sack and take you away. He's going to take out presents from the sack. Do you know where else Santa Claus comes from in the 20th century? Oh, I think it was the 19th century, but do you know the other source, particularly why we say Santa Claus and not Saint Nick? Do you know the story?
From the North Pole.
That's true. But do you know where it comes from? The Santa Claus part of the Saint Nick story. I'll give you a hint. It's a product that you all know. It comes from Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola invented Santa Claus. It was from an advertising campaign, and it just caught on. So if you can even go back on the internet and see the original Santa Claus ads, you can still see them. And I think that's fitting because it's at that point where it becomes less a mythology and more about the presents and selling things. I'll tell you what, we have to stop here. In the second hour, we're going to talk about Christmas traditions, and we'll take a look at some of the links that I've put there for you. So stick around. We'll be doing less reading and more talking in the last hour, and I'd like to hear more about the traditions that you grew up with and what's happening in your countries as well. Okay? So stick around for the second hour. I'll be right back.